Welcome back, church. I'm Ricky Farley with 70 times 7 Ministry, and today is September 9th, 2021. We're in the book of Zephaniah. Last week we discussed in chapter 1 the day of the Lord. In Zephaniah was talking about the coming judgment that was coming upon uh, Judah, and today we're going to finish up in chapter 1 and see that he is also talking about the judgment coming upon Jerusalem. Now, we did talk a little bit about Josiah, who was king at the time, and he was a counterpart, or he was king he reigned during this time. Um, and he died fairly young in his 40s. But when he come to rule, he was only 8, and he was a good king, and there was many bad kings during this time, um, along with his grandfather, which was King Manasseh. Uh, but it wasn't uncommon for a king to be young, for a young king, which he was 8 when he took rule. But like I was talking about his grandfather, he was the 12-year-old king that we read about in 2 Kings in chapter 22. Um, so it wasn't uncommon, but he was far different from his grandfather. But um, he tried to restore religious order in the kingdom, which they ended up uh, falling as Zephaniah prophesies. And we're picking up in chapter 11. Wail the inhabitants of Mektish, and those merchants of the people cut down. All those who handle money are cut off. And this was a place that was near Jerusalem, and this is where um, those silver handlers were believed to be. And it shall come to pass at the time that I will search Jerusalem with the lamps and punish the men and the settlement who are settled in complacency, who say in their hearts that the Lord do good nor will do evil. So they were complacent. God's not going to do this or you're going to do this. It didn't really matter to them. Therefore, their goods shall become booty, and their houses desolate, and they shall build houses, but not inhabited them, and they shall plant vineyards, but not drink of their wine. The great day of the Lord is near, and uh, near, and hastens quickly. The noise of the day of the Lord is bitter, and the mighty men shall cry out. The day is the day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of devastation and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of trumpets and alarm against the fortified cities and against the high tower. Now, Zephaniah makes it really clear here in his prose how dark and poignant this time is going to be. Through his words, we can really paint a picture in our own minds of what this is going to be like. I'll just bring distress upon man, and they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. Their blood shall be poured out like dust, and their flesh like refuge. Neither the silver nor gold shall be able to deliver them into the day of the Lord's wrath. In the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. Excuse me. And we do have a jealous God, and he doesn't want to see us in the sinner's hands. He wants to deliver us to himself. And this is so poignant because this is so true today too. We can't buy our salvation. We can't buy our way out of God's judgment, no matter how rich we are, because that doesn't matter to God. Our faith matters to God. For he will make speedy riddance of those who dwell in the land. And we're going to stop there. And our memory verse, we're continuing on the Romans road of salvation. And we're in Romans 3:23 today. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And this is a really important thing to realize, because there's a couple things here. We realize that we can't look to other men and see how good they are, or we can't look to see how bad they are. This is the great equalizer, because we're all sinners. And we need to look to Christ as our measuring stick, because he was the only perfect man, and that's where we need to look for our salvation. If you like what you heard here today, please share it with a friend.